Hello, welcome to another GoldMine 101, our regular series of short presentations giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of GoldMine CRM. In this session, I'm going to talk about old pending activities. As well, maybe you're a long-time GoldMine CRM user, you may find yourself wondering what to do with those old pending and uncompleted activities cluttering up your precious database. And these lingering tasks can be the result of follow-ups that were overlooked, maybe employees that no longer work for you, or simply a change of priorities, change of sales processes. So before diving into solutions, it's important to understand why doing something about these old activities is important. The first reason is to improve system performance, all right? So they could potentially, if there's lots of them, have an impact on the speed and performance of your system. Second thing is thinking about your users, their productivity and user adoption. That's a really important thing to think about. Thirdly, if you're doing any reporting on activities, pending activities, uncompleted activities, forecasting, that may prove less accurate if you've got some old stuff hanging around in there. And lastly, just thinking about overall data quality, you're always trying to keep your CRM system up to date and with relevant information. And nothing's worse than users scrolling through contact records and clicking on the pending tab and seeing loads of uncompleted activities from years ago. In this session then, I will show you places where these old activities can be found, and then some solutions on what to do with them. So hello, I'm Tim Wilmot, and my company, Wizard Systems, are a specialist CRM systems supplier who help out mainly small and mid-sized organizations improve their sales productivity, marketing, and customer service through the use of simple and affordable solutions like GoldMine. The audio part of this call presentation is one way only. If you've got a question on anything I'm going on about, please pop that into the question box on your meeting control panel, and I'll do my best at the end. Also at the end, I'll give you an update on any current GoldMine news we've got for you as of end of August 2024. We're a long-standing supplier of GoldMine CRM. We've been implementing it and supporting GoldMine for many, many years. As a leading CRM solutions provider, we actually offer various CRM systems, not just GoldMine. The key benefit we provide as a multi-solution CRM supplier is the ability then, of course, to match to different businesses the ideal system for them based on their size, their budget, industry, what they do, and their specific requirements. And with experience across major CRM solutions, not just GoldMine, our team has got the know-how to guide our customers through selecting the best solution for them and customizing it to the requirements. But as regards GoldMine, we're a one-stop shop. If you're a GoldMine user, we provide anything that you could require in GoldMine, the product, upgrades, support, training, and ongoing help desk support as well. So the first place where they may manifest themselves, of course, is on a contacts pending tab. And GoldMine makes a distinction between outstanding activities and completed activity in history. So you're scrolling through pending and you find some really old stuff, and nothing's more annoying. You can't really tell. Well, maybe the user might have left, but you can't tell if the user is still working for the company. Is that just unintentionally just been left there? Has it been forgotten about? It's just introduces a little bit of confusion over what should be done with that contact record. So that's the first place. Second place, you might be familiar with dashboards, graphical dashboards, KPI charts in GoldMine. There's about 8 or 9 standard ones that come with the product. You can create your own as well. And that's where, in a summary or a detailed way, you can see by user over a date range the outstanding activities they've got. That could be displayed as a table, or it could be a bar graph, a pie chart. There's loads and loads of different chart types in there. To dive into a little bit more detail, once you've established the activity type that might be lurking around there, and maybe the users they belong to as well. And these users may have departed your organization, and maybe they haven't been replaced. Who knows what the situation might be? But you could go to the activity list and select the activity type, select your date range as well. Typically, it would be today and prior. Then select the user, and you may see maybe hundreds of activities in there. They're just, of course, attached mainly to contact records. They may be unlinked activities as well. You could also use reports. There's loads of reports in GoldMine to be able to print out these activities. But probably the activity list here is the best place to go to, filtering it by day range, by activity type, and then by user. Okay, so you found those old activities. What to do with them? Well, if the users are still in the company, maybe it needs a little bit of education, them to go back through these records, try and establish why didn't they complete these activities, which of course, as you know, will remove the activity from pending and place it in history. So we can all see that that particular activity was done. So it might be if the user's still there, maybe a little bit of education, and get them as a little project to update those activities or change the date or whatever the situation might be. If the users have left, then the probably one of the top features in GoldMine in the activity list here, once you've displayed all those activities, you could right click here and go down to options, and there's the auto update feature. Now we have covered this in a few 101 sessions before, but basically here, this is where you can knock on the head these old activities, either complete them or delete them. There are other options as well to move them to other users if this user has left, but maybe they've been replaced by a user in a similar role, same activity, then you could use the rollover feature, or the territory realignment wizard is a really good one in GoldMine to move activities from one user to another. So those are the primary ways of dealing with those old outstanding activities. Nothing's better than prevention and making sure that you are keeping your activity records updated. If you are intending to use your CRM to schedule and track and get reminded about up and coming activities, then keep using it and keep updating those activities to prevent those old things gradually creeping in there. It can happen, but hopefully you can see there's some easy solutions in GoldMine to rectify that. Should say that before carrying out any of these actions, once you've established that you've got some old activities in there, please make sure you've got a backup, a secure backup of your complete GoldMine system before proceeding, because it's very difficult to undo what I'm describing here. If you're deleting activities, if you're moving activities from user A to user B, once it's done, it's basically done. Can be quite difficult to undo that. All right. So that's how to deal with those old pending activities. Well, if you've got any questions, those of you on here live, you've got any questions around this area, be happy to answer those before I just summarize and wrap up. Let me just see here. We've got a question from Duncan. How might cleaning up old activities impact our reporting and analytics, especially if we've been using historical data for trend analysis? Well, if it's okay, so let me just unpick this. So if it's historical, if you're doing historical reporting, then what I'm covering here is really outstanding pending activities. So if you're doing any reporting on historical stuff, then it's not going to have an impact there. There will be, you know, they're still in the like the in tray, they're not in the out tray in GoldMine. If, however, you're doing any reporting on outstanding activities, then yes, depending on the date range, you may get some erroneous trends coming up there as regards the amount of outstanding activities and sales calls and sales forecasts you might have. So, yep. So, to answer your exact question, unlikely to affect historical data, but again, use the things I've covered just to establish whether you could be suffering from those old pending activities. Right, next question from Linda. What's the best practice for handling recurring activities that were set up by employees who've since left the company? Yeah, so there is that feature in GoldMine to set up recurring activities. So you could say, right, I want to call this customer every month on a Monday for the next 6 years. And GoldMine will faithfully go away and create those activities. You should be able to remove one. It will ask you then, do you want to delete the recurring activities? So that should work for you. But if the user had created through that recurring option when creating activity, whenever it was, umpteen months or years ago, then you by carrying out one of those solutions I did will solve it for you, Linda. If, however, I'm just thinking about this, if, however, your recurring activities were created or are being created automatically in GoldMine by a feature called automated processes. So this is where in GoldMine, as you may know, that's where you can set up an automatic action that could say, right, if there's no outstanding activity for this customer, schedule a phone call for user Fred or whatever. And as long as that automated process is running and as long as the trigger condition is true, the action will take place. An activity, a follow-up phone call will be created. Now, user Fred might have left the company. So that could be another situation, Linda. Yeah, so you need to check. I'm not sure if you're the administrator, but you need to check where these recurring activities are being created by an automated process in your system. Okay, and another question from Duncan. Are there any third-party tools or add-ons for GoldMine that can help automate the process of managing old activities? You could do the cleaning up in the SQL database. So all of the data in GoldMine is in a very secure Microsoft SQL database that users will never see. All right, but all the data is in this SQL thing. So an SQL administrator or we could go in there and do it and tidy up any kind of thing, any kind of data for you based on any criteria. I would say so. There's no other sort of third-party tools as such. The easiest way is to use one of the options. I select the rollover, the auto update, bit of education. Those are the best solutions there for you, Duncan. Okay, I don't think there's any more questions there. Let me just double check. No. Okay, right. Well, thank you very much for those questions. Just to wrap up then, latest news as of end of August 2024. Current release of GoldMine is 2024.3. You've got to be on a maintenance contract to get these updates, and they will, of course, amongst any sort of bug fixes, they will give you compatibility updates to latest operating systems and the like. So make sure you're always up to date to keep your GoldMine system healthy. Do you fancy a CRM review there? Has it been some time since we or someone has reviewed your GoldMine system to see how you're using it and come up with some hints and tips on better use of GoldMine? So if you'd like to carry out a free review with us, it's normally done online over an hour or so, and we ask you loads of questions. We have a little bit of a dive into your GoldMine system, see how you're using it. Please contact us at Wizard Systems if you fancy that, to have a review of your GoldMine system. And just to wrap things up, if you've got any suggestions for future topics, anything we haven't covered or you think would be very, very popular with other GoldMine users, then please contact us. I'm Tim Wilmot, tim@wizard-systems.com. Be happy to consider those. So thanks very much, those of you on here live. We'll catch up with you soon on the next GoldMine 101 event. Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.